Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we've basically taken an entire university course on the art of contemporary selling, and we're going to show you how the game has completely changed. We're moving away from those old high pressure tactics and into a world all about building genuine, valuable relationships.
All right, let's just start with a quick question for you. When I say the word selling, what's the very first image that pops into your head? For a lot of us, right, it might be that pushy used car salesman vibe, or maybe that super annoying cold call that always seems to come right at dinner time. It's often a feeling of being pressured. Yeah, that old image is exactly why the word selling can sometimes have, a negative ring to it. But the reality of what professional selling is today, it could not be more different. We've shifted from an old school transactional, just get the deal done approach to one that is completely and totally customer focused. It's not about pushing a product anymore. It's about solving a problem and building a real, lasting relationship. So let's really dig into this transformation. Why did that old aggressive model of just making one-off sales totally break down? And more importantly, what has risen up to take its place? Wow, okay, this chart right here, it illustrates the entire shift perfectly in one single image. Take a look. In the old transactional model, you can see almost all the energy, all the focus was on one thing, closing the sale. But in value-added selling, the whole model gets flipped on its head. It's completely inverted. The vast majority of time and effort is now spent right up front on deeply, truly understanding what the buyer actually needs. The close just becomes a natural next step, not some forced event. And all of this leads us to the core philosophy of all modern selling, what we call the customer-centric revolution. And it is a revolution. It's a fundamental change in thinking that puts the entire business process around the one person who matters most, the buyer. Now, what's so cool about this diagram is how it visualizes this new world. See, the customer isn't just some endpoint anymore. They are the very center of the universe. Every single part of the company, from R&D and finance to customer service and even HR, has to revolve around the customer. It's like the customer is the sun, and everything else is in its orbit, drawing insights from them and delivering value back to them. So here's the crucial point. This is not just some fluffy, feel-good idea. Nope. This is a serious, bottom-line business strategy. The focus completely shifts from the short-term win of a single sale to maximizing the long-term lifetime value of a customer. We're talking about the total profit a customer can bring over the entire relationship. You're building an asset, not just closing a deal. That all sounds great, right? But how do you actually do it? How do you create and then show that value in a way that people can understand? Well, it really boils down to two simple but incredibly powerful formulas. First up, this is the master equation for creating value. It's beautifully simple. Value equals benefits minus costs. That's it. If the benefits a customer gets from your solution are bigger than all the costs they have to put in, and cost isn't just the price tag, right? It's their time, their effort, the headache of switching. If the benefits outweigh all that, you've created value. So, how do you actually build up that benefit side of the equation? Well, a really effective tool salespeople use is called the FAB model. You start with a feature. That's just a fact about your product. Then you explain its advantage, what that feature does. But, and this is where the magic really happens, you then translate that into a benefit, which is the specific positive outcome that advantage creates for this particular buyer. Okay, so having these formulas and models is great, but you know what? None of it works, not a single bit of it, if it's not built on the true currency of modern business, and that is trust. And look, this isn't just my opinion or some nice idea. The research here is absolutely overwhelming. We're talking decades of studies from management, marketing, psychology, and they all point to the exact same conclusion. Trust is the number one key driver of a quality business relationship, period. So what do we even mean by trust in this context? Well, it's a customer's willingness to be a little vulnerable with you, to share their real problems, their actual goals, because they have a positive expectation of your intentions. They believe you are genuinely there to help them win, not just to help yourself. Okay, so let's put it all together now. We've talked about being customer-centric, creating value, building on trust. What does this actually look like in the real world? Let's quickly walk through how this whole philosophy gets applied in the modern sales process. It often starts with a visual like this, the sales funnel. You begin with a really wide pool of potential leads. Then comes the really critical step, You qualify them. That just means you're figuring out, do they have a real problem that we can solve? Are they a good fit to work with? And only then do they become prospects that you really engage with, eventually turning the best ones into long-term customers, or better yet, partners.
And a super powerful technique used inside this process is just asking intelligent questions. The famous SPIN framework is a great example. You ask S-situation questions to understand the context. Then you ask problem questions to uncover their challenges. The next part's key, implication questions, to really explore the consequences of those problems. And finally, need-payoff questions, which cleverly help the customer explain, in their own words, the value of finding a solution.
And all of this brings us to our final and honestly the most crucial point in this entire explainer. And it's an idea that applies to everyone way beyond a career in sales.
You know, if you strip away all the jargon, all the models, all the techniques, what are you really left with? At its heart, great contemporary selling isn't really selling at all. It's the art and science of being genuinely useful by solving problems for other people. That's it.
So the final question I want to leave you with isn't about your sales pitch. It's about your purpose. Whether you're in an official sales role or not, in your work, in your life, just take a moment to ask yourself, whose problem are you uniquely equipped to solve today?